I was kissed by a woman. Am I bisexual? Our own sexuality can sometimes be puzzling, exciting, and confusing to say the least. Here in this channel, we explore all aspects of human sexuality without judgment or shame. And my goal is that you are empowered to design and live the sex life you envision and deserve. On that note, let me tell you about a personal experience I had with a female that kissed me and how I felt about my own sexuality afterwards. If you are curious, I will answer the question. Am I heterosexual, bisexual, bicurious, or heteroflexible? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, I am Dr. Tianji, the sex doctor, board certified clinical sexologist, and your most honest and candid sexpert on this platform. Welcome! If you are new here and you like my content, please support me by subscribing. Your subscription is free, does not cost you anything, takes literally just 1 second of your time, but helps this channel tremendously. The algorithm does not like to prioritize sex topics and tends to hide this essential content. So, the more of you subscribe, the more we force the algorithm to take sex out of the dark ages and into the modern times. You may also become a member of the Sex Intelligent Club for exclusive content not available here. So, follow my lead now. Lift your finger and click on that subscribe button. Yay! You did it! Thanks. So a few years ago, I was dancing at a club and I was kissed by a woman. The experience left me thinking, and I had to spend some time dissecting the experience to make sense of it, which led me to the question, what is my sexuality? I've always known that I am heterosexual, I am a woman, and I like men. However, based on that experience, am I bisexual? Am I heteroflexible? Or am I bicurious? Well, let's define all and work on this puzzle. What is heteroflexibility? You may have only heard of the terms heterosexual, which is when people are sexually attracted to the opposite sex, homosexual, which is when people are sexually attracted to the same sex, and bisexual, which is when people are sexually attracted to people from either sex. However, there are many other sexualities or ways in which people feel or experience sexual or romantic attraction to others, and many other ways in which people label themselves or their sexuality or not. Heteroflexible describes a sexual orientation in which a person primarily identifies as heterosexual, but may also experience attraction to people of the same sex. This attraction can be occasional, situational, or limited to certain types of relationships. And how does heteroflexibility differ from bisexuality? Heteroflexible individuals do not typically experience a strong, ongoing, consistent, or persistent attraction to both genders. In other words, people who may feel sexual attraction towards someone of their same sex based on access or opportunity, for example, when they are involved in group sex or during a night out, may not think or fantasize or want to have sexual contact again with someone from their same sex after that limited interaction is over. Whereas a bisexual person may be game for either or at any time and experience sexual attraction towards the same or the opposite sex consistently. But what about bicurious? Have you heard of this term? Bicurious is a term used when someone who is self-identified heterosexual is curious or open about engaging in sexual activity with a person whose sex differs from that of their usual sexual partners. So basically, bicurious people may be open to the possibility or even seek out the opportunity to experiment with people of their own sex, but they know that they want to have sexual and romantic relationships mostly with people of the opposite sex. If all of this sounds confusing to you, let's sum it up in one simple way. People who are homosexual or heterosexual, which are opposite sides on the sexuality spectrum, are mostly or exclusively sexually and romantically interested in people of one sex orientation, gender identity, and expression, whereas bisexuality, heteroflexibility, and bicuriosity fall somewhere in the middle of that spectrum. And what can differentiate them is the desire to have both sexual and romantic long term relationships with either sex. Are women more prone to heteroflexibility, bisexuality, or bicuriosity than men? Robert Epstein, psychologist and former editor of Psychology Today, has conducted studies on this subject from all over the world by collecting responses to surveys around sexual fluidity. He posits that most people fall somewhere in the middle of a sex continuum and experience some degree of same sex attraction at some point in their lives. And although sexual attraction to the same sex can happen momentarily, circumstantially, or consistently over time, his data show that women report more instances of same sex attraction than men, and that women also show more flexibility in expressing these desires. Other studies have supported the notion of higher degree of sexual flexibility and fluidity among women than men. However, the reasons for this phenomenon are not clear. A layer of complexity to the sexual fluidity among sexes is that people can be aroused by the same sex but not act on it, or they can even be unconsciously aroused by the same sex and not be aware of it or want to acknowledge it. Human sexuality is a complex process and experience, and understanding our sexuality requires a high degree of self awareness, honesty, and getting past biases imposed by societal, cultural, moral, or religious standards. So, am I heterosexual, bicurious, heteroflexible, or bisexual? Based on my own self awareness and romantic and sexual experiences, I know that I am heteroflexible. I lean heavily on heterosexuality. I like men. I am attracted to men. I've always had romantic relationships with men exclusively, but I have found that in limited circumstances, I have enjoyed sexual interactions with women. However, those interactions have always reaffirmed my strong attraction and predilection to men. What do you think about this topic? Fascinating, isn't it? If you have anything to share about your own experiences and sexual ID, have your comments or leave your comments below. If you're curious, know that your body and sexuality belong to you, and you're the only one who gets to decide how to live your sexual human experience. I encourage all of you to not label or judge others and just focus on your own sexuality. Always remember to live your sexuality ethically, which includes always asking and clearly expressing consent and never engaging with someone who is unwilling or unable to give it. Other than that, whatever floats your boat, we are not judging. This is Dr. Tanji, the sex doctor, as always, wishing you safe, healthy, and pleasurable sex. See you next time.